myself included, I will tell the people of Wajir, we have failed you in terms of leaders. Because if a mother, it's very painful, Mr. Speaker, to carry a baby for 9 months, to go through labor, only for you to lose a baby when the baby was delivered prematurely, only for you to lose a baby. That, I want to send my condolences to those families who lost their babies and those mothers specifically. And it pains me so much to see something like that happening. Madam Speaker, sorry, I have seen a change of speaker. Madam Speaker, I also want to urge our governor to kindly purchase a generator urgently, so that when there is power outage in the hospital, at least there is a backup power that can support, so that people who are in ICU, people who are in, kids who are in incubators can be saved, so that we don't have a problem. And Madam Speaker, I tend to feel sometimes that we need to do something about health and counties. Because health is a fully devolved function. And I think, at least I'm glad we passed the health bill that is going to, in terms of regarding the amendment for NHIF, that is going to be, in my view, going to bring sanity to the health sector. I hope it does, the way we had envisaged. But, Madam Speaker, there is an urgent need to ensure that county medical facilities are fast-tracked. This is now much more funded than before, and therefore, because let the Kenyans enjoy the fruit of devolution, let them get, the benefit that comes with, having self-governance. And I am also urging Kenyans out there, specifically my county of Wajir, please, next time when you are electing a governor, don't elect a governor based on the tribe, based on whatever. Even if you want to base it on a tribe, make sure you select the best in that tribe, because I don't think everybody is bad in that specific tribe because of the locality issues. But make sure that you give leadership to the person who deserves and not person who is corrupt, who is just filling their own pockets. And Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, coming back to this bill, I also wish to thank Senator Shionga for not allowing Kenya Medical Supply Authority to continue enjoying a monopoly, because if they have monopoly, actually even them they will not need to work hard to ensure that they are competitive. If there are other competitors, Madam Speaker, then Kenya Medical Supply Authority will be forced to ensure that they are competitive so that people can buy from them, because other people will have been more expensive compared to theirs. And that way, counties will save money. They'll be out of the savings from the inefficiencies of Kemsa. There will be much more drugs available to the people of the counties so that they are able to deliver in terms of medical supplies, and there is continuous supplies in terms of, because of the efficiency that comes with competition. This country is, let me say we have a tendency for capitalism, although there is some socialism that is part of it, because like medical health and all that we still subsidize. But in terms of in general, so if Kemsa is not, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority is not allowed to be competitive, then we are killing businesses as well. Because there are other people who are also in that business who should also be competitive enough to ensure that they are more efficient than Kemsa, so that they have much more, counties can get much more drugs in their stores as a result of the efficiencies that is enjoyed, Madam Speaker. I also tend to believe in Wajir County right now, why we have problems with Kenya Power is Kenya Power generates power and it also supplies. I think that change should also be cut in Wajir Power. I am appealing to the Ministry of Energy to ensure that the people who supply are Kenyan instead of Kenya Power. So that, you know, right now they charge people on the way they want. But if there is Kenyan supplying, then they will have constant supply because Kenya Power will be paying them according to the units that is supplied. But at this point, in Wajir County, the Kenya Power has a monopoly. And that creates a major problem for our county. And I think the Ministry of Energy needs to review that and ensure that that issue is addressed so that people of Wajir can have constant supply of power, and as a result, as well, so that the Wajir County Referral Hospital has constant supply of power. Madam Speaker, I support, and I wish to thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
Asante Bi Speaker kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza nataka kumpongeza Senator Shionga kwa mswada huu wa marekebisho ya Kemsa. Kwa kweli ni yamekuja wakati unaofaa, kwa sababu ukitembelea Kemsa utapata ya kwamba hata dawa zile ambazo wako nazo ni 60% peke yake. Kwa hivyo kaunti zetu zikijaribu kuagiza dawa, unapata dawa nyingi haziko. Na kikatiba ama kisheria inakuwa ni vigumu kwa kaunti zetu kununua dawa katika sehemu zingine. Kwa hivyo unapata ukitembelea hospitali zetu, mfano ukienda hospitali ya Nanyuki hamna dawa, ukienda hospitali ya Nyahururu hamna dawa. Unapata watu wanaishi maisha ya uchochole kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa zile dawa, na tunasema ya kwamba dawa zingepatikana katika bei nafuu ikiwa ziko katika hospitali zetu za kiserikali. Na kwa sababu mambo ya afya yako katika gatuzi zetu, kwa hivyo ni jukumu letu kama seneti, kama vile Senator Shionga ameleta mswada huu, mimi naunga mkono. Ukiangalia tena bei za dawa pale katika hospitali zetu, inakuwa wanaponunua hapa katika Kemsa ni bei maradufu, kwa sababu hakuna ule ushindani. Ikiwa kuna ushindani kama vile inavyopendekezwa katika mswada huu, itakuwa Wakenya wataweza kupata mahali ambako watakaponunua dawa katika hospitali zetu kwa bei ambao ni nafuu, kwa sababu kaunti zetu zimepata bei hizi zikiwa nafuu. Kwa hivyo, Bi Speaker, mimi naunga mkono. Jambo lingine ambalo ningependa kusema ni ya kwamba ikiwa afya imeletwa katika gatuzi zetu, inapaswa hata Kemsa yenyewe iweze kuleka katika gatuzi zetu, kwa sababu watu kununua dawa, mtu ananunua dawa akiwa Rumuruti anakuja kununua hapa Nairobi. Inachukua muda, inakuwa mambo ambayo yanafanyika inachukua muda mrefu sana. Kwa hivyo haya marekebisho yamekuja wakati unaofaa, na ni marekebisho ambayo yanakuja kusaidia kaunti zetu, na kaunti zetu zitanufaika ikiwa mswada huu utapitishwa, na mimi nitaunga mkono tuweze kupitisha. Ukitembelea hata Kemsa yenyewe unapata ya kwamba dawa zilizoko, kwa sababu zimekaa sana, kwa sababu ni mipangilio mingi ambayo inafuatiliwa ndio dawa ziweze kwenda katika kaunti zetu, unapata ya kwamba inachukua muda mrefu. Dawa zilizoko unapata zingine ziko karibu kuharibika. Kwa hivyo wakati zinapofika katika kaunti, unapata zimebakisha miezi 2 au miezi 3 ziweze kuharibika. Kwa hivyo hata wananchi wanasema wakipewa zile dawa, mtu hana imani na zile dawa, kwa sababu dawa ambazo zimebakisha miezi 2 ziweze kuharibika, inakuwa hata wewe unazimeza ama unazitumia ukiwa na taharuki. Kwa hivyo mswada huu naona utaleta maridhio mema katika kaunti zetu, na mimi nataka kuunga mkono na niseme umekuja wakati mwema, na namshukuru na nampongeza Senator Shionga. Asante.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Cherargei Samson Kiprotich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to support this amendment and the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Amendment Bill 2021, and to congratulate Senator Naomi Shionga, my neighbor and the next women rep of Kakamega County, and wish her well. Madam Speaker, maybe from the onset, I want to thank her because, Madam Speaker, you remember out of 24 legislations that we went before the High Court. One of the key issues that we contested was the passage of this bill without the concurrence of the Senate. And these were among the 24 legislation. This was part of the 24 legislations that were declared illegal and unconstitutional by the High Court. So what we are simply, Madam Speaker, doing is complying with the Constitution of Kenya and the ruling of the High Court. And Mr. Speaker, it has shown that, and this should go to the National Assembly, that, Madam Speaker, they need to be very careful, because the concurrence of bills from both houses is very critical and it's constitutional. The non-concurrence, it will meet its Waterloo in the courts of law. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we are just abiding, and I want to thank Senator Naomi Shionga for bringing this amendment up, because we are just complying with the ruling of the High Court and also the Constitution. Madam Speaker, when you look at the section that needs to be dropped or amended or deleted, is that it is that shall. I wish even either lack of wisdom or they should have used the word may, so that we give counties option. Madam Speaker, and we don't want to create a monster called Kemsa. We have seen the monopoly. Kemsa is a monopoly, just like Kenya Power and other institutions that are monopoly. But if you open up, Madam Speaker, and ensure that any person who will want to sell drugs, pharmaceuticals, non-pharmaceuticals to our county governments are going through a rigorous vetting. And of course, Kenya Bureau of Statistics, KEBS, must ensure that they comply with the standards. And then we give opportunity counties to buy these drugs, because everywhere you go, governors complain, everybody complain, we don't have drugs. Kemsa has failed to submit drugs. When you go to Kemsa, Kemsa says some of the drugs, the shelf life is very short. They cannot, Madam Speaker, when you go to Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, there are no drugs. You go to Mosoriat Sub-County Hospital, there are no drugs. Kaptumo Sub-County Hospital, Maraba Sub-County Hospital, Chepterwai, Kabiyet Sub-County Hospitals. Madam Speaker, all these and even dispensaries do not have regular and steady supply of drugs. And the only argument of county governments have been this section of the Kenya Medical Supplies Act, Madam Speaker. And therefore, by deleting this, we are giving opportunity to counties to procure drugs at their convenience. But of course, I know the wisdom of the National Assembly then was trying to ensure that we close up and ensure that we ensure that the accountability is taken. But they forgot one thing, that health has been devolved. And non-involvement of the Senate, Madam Speaker, brought all this unconstitutionality, because as you are aware, health is fully devolved. So the ignorance of either Kemsa or the Ministry of Health or the National Assembly had caused them. Madam Speaker, we are aware what is happening in Kemsa, and you have seen even a number of donors who work with Kemsa have demanded serious reforms within Kemsa. And you have seen even the CEO and many other government officials have been prosecuted because of the infamous Kemsa billionaires. Unfortunately, the real culprits of what the COVID billionaires that stole in Kemsa have never been brought to book. But we have seen even international partners who work closely with Kemsa have demanded serious and overhaul of operations of Kemsa. And I think what Senator Naomi Shionga has started is part of the reforms that we need to see in Kemsa, Madam Speaker. We don't want the Kemsa to operate in secrecy, like a society that is shrouded in secrecy. And Madam Speaker, when it is every institution that shrouds itself in secrecy, is also secrecy thrives, corruption thrives very well in secrecy, Madam Speaker. We would have expected that Kemsa in its form should be one of the suppliers where county governments can buy from Kemsa or any other entities that have been approved within the procedures that have been provided for, so that they become competitive, Madam Speaker. If you open up, they will be competitive, Madam Speaker. They will ensure that they become competitive. They give their services adequately, Madam Speaker. They ensure they deliver drugs so that the environment will continue, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is also, and of course the regulatory bodies will ensure if these reforms are done, and we also need so that donations, Madam Speaker, like even MEDS, there's other organizations that MEDS that are run by, I think, by the Catholic Church. There are other organizations that have already been recognized under the law that other entities can buy drugs, pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals from those areas, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, in an upshot, I really want to say that this amendment is a straightforward amendment. We hope that we can conclude today, and when we vote in the afternoon, this should be able to be part of the bills that will go to division, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the issue of procurement, we want to challenge counties that the issue of drugs is very important. We want every dispensary you go, be it Tamboya dispensary, somewhere in Sanyak or somewhere there, when you walk into a dispensary, you are able to get drugs, Madam Speaker. For example, in Nandi, as I conclude, there is no drugs even in the Kapsabet County Referral Hospital. And one interesting thing, there is no drugs. So what they normally tell you, they give you a pay bill number, you send money to that pay bill number, but that pay bill number is private. You are just withdrawing from an agent which is private. It's not part of, it's not even contravening the PMF Act on how payment should be made by agencies, Madam Speaker. So you are already paying the pay bill number, and then somebody else will, they tell you, can you withdraw during this pay bill number? An agent who is private around Kapsabet town. Yet you have given out your money, there is no drugs, you can't be given services. So, Madam Speaker, I think we really need to ensure that the issue of drugs, Madam Speaker, is consistent. And I hope if this amendment goes through, and if the National Assembly agrees with us, Madam Speaker, we shall be able, counties will not be complaining around, Madam Speaker, by saying, oh, Parliament passed a law that restricts us. You hear every governor saying, oh, our hands are tied, we must wait for Kemsa. And of course, to some extent, they are right, because if Kemsa does not have that drugs, or those pharmaceuticals or non-pharmaceuticals, Madam Speaker, it means also they must wait. But now you have opened up MEDS that is run by the Catholic Church, among other organizations. You can now buy, just the way you want to buy something from a shop. If you don't get from this shop, you can walk to the next, Madam Speaker. So I really want to say that will encourage competitiveness, it will encourage service delivery improvement, and this is part of reforms. But I want to say, as I thank Senator Naomi Shionga, that, Madam Speaker, that the Kemsa reforms is long overdue. We must reform Kemsa. This is just a tip of the iceberg. I wish we do and ensure that the law is, so congratulations, Senator Naomi Shionga. You have proved to the world, Madam Speaker, that women also can lead. And we wish you well in your endeavors, because this is the year. Madam Speaker, I'm told, you know, she's my neighbor. I'm told she's running for women rep in Kakamega, and I hope he runs in UDA. Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Olekina Ledama, I didn't want to comment on your last statement, but I hope Senator Ledama is not going to touch on it.
Madam Speaker, I will remain very relevant to the discussion. Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me an opportunity. And first of all, let me begin by wishing you a very new year, Happy New Year. A year which will be very interesting for this country, because it will be a year that we'll all be seeking a new mandate to represent our people. And I hope we'll be judged by our people wisely by the fact that we've been doing work for them. Madam Speaker, this is a very timely bill, but I'm a little bit concerned, and I don't know how my sister will be able to resolve this issue. Yes, I fully support the repealing of that section that mandates county governments to be able to purchase drugs only from Kemsa. But I'm concerned about one thing. Madam Speaker, I am a member of the Health Committee. And during our deliberations, and particularly matters to do with Kemsa, we came into the revelation that Kemsa is owed by county government 3.9 billion Kenya shillings. The Ministry of Health owes Kemsa 2 billion shillings. So the question that someone will have to answer is, are we repealing this section so that we can bankrupt an already troubled entity, or are we repealing this section to be able to allow competition to thrive? Madam Speaker, I'm very careful, because when the National Assembly drafted this legislation and they restricted the procurement of all medicals through this authority called Kemsa, there were certain prerequisites. There were things which were put in place to ensure that we don't have fake medicine coming into this country. I'd be very careful to repeal this section when we have a huge debt that county governments have not paid. 3.9 billion shillings. I would want the mover of this amendment to tell me, how is Kemsa going to be paid these 3.9 billion shillings? Are counties not getting drugs because they are only supposed to be given to buy them from Kemsa? Or are they not getting drugs because they do not pay Kemsa the money? We have to be very honest, because of course the interest of every businessman out there is to be able to be given a window to purchase drugs to buy. But when I read, reports from Kemsa, from the restructuring board, that says our hands are tied. Our order fill rate now for drugs, Panadol, to reach Kwale is 649 days. The question that I ask is it because Kwale has not paid Kemsa the money, or is it because Kemsa does not have those drugs? So, Madam Speaker, as we seek to repeal this section, I want the mover of this bill to tell us, how is Kemsa going to recover the money? Is this going to be money which is going to be written off? Yet this Senate is a Senate that allocates money to county governments. It is a Senate that ensures that at least 30% of each county government's budget goes into the medical budget. So, Madam Speaker, as I support this amendment, I have a problem with the pending bill. Can we then put a disclaimer there and say that first, before any county government can purchase drugs from any other vendor who is out there who is supplying drugs, they must clear their bill with Kemsa? Because this is a state agency. We allocate funds to these state agencies, but we don't allocate these funds to these state agencies so that they can be taken advantage of by other county governments. So that is my biggest concern, Madam Speaker, on this particular matter. The Ministry of Health, the PS sat here, Madam Speaker, when we are trying to go through the budget of Kemsa. But for us to be told that Kemsa is owed 2 billion shillings by the Ministry of Health, it really beats the purpose. Why should the PS of Health be the accounting officer, the person who ensures that Kemsa has money, yet they don't pay those bills? I don't think we are going to be solving this problem. I think we are only going to be taking this problem from one entity to another. I think a lot of people prefer working with the government. In fact, Madam Speaker, when we were discussing the issue of the budget policy statement, one of the reservations that I had was when the Treasury was proposing that now for this financial year, the government will borrow heavily, about 4% of its GDP locally, from the local banks. That will put all the private businesses out of business. So then, if now we are saying government or financial institutions feel comfortable working with the government because they know, even if the government does not pay me that money is secured. The county governments dealing with Kemsa, Kemsa knows very well that despite the fact that the county governments will not pay the money on time, we will still get our money because it's from the government. What guarantee do we now have that once we repeal this section and we open up? And I want to commend my dear sister, Senator Shionga, for actually bringing this process to where it belongs. It is not a directive by the president that allows county governments to go out there and buy medicine. No, it is this parliament that passed as a law. If we have to make any changes, it is this parliament that makes the changes. But now, my problem is one, and I would like Senator Shihonga to be able to guarantee me that indeed the county governments will pay Kemsa. Because we send money to county governments. We know very well that there are so many governors who are now doing their second term, and they owe Kemsa quite a lot of money. So the question to ask is this: when these governors are out of office, who will ensure that the new governor who comes in place will clear that bill? Or will they come up with the same argument that they bring all the time that says, that was not my spending? Forgetting that that is an institution, and when you take over an institution, you inherit their assets and liabilities. So, Madam Speaker, I would wish to amend this further, and I would like to consult with my colleague, that only county governments that would have cleared their bills with Kemsa would be allowed to purchase from any other vendor. Because if we allow these counties, if we repeal this section without taking those issues that I've raised here into consideration, then of course, we'll just be killing every state agency. We've killed Kenya Airways, and we'll just continue pumping money, forgetting that this money is not the state money. These are taxpayers' money. These are people, it is our money. We pay a lot of taxes. Madam Speaker, if you look at your pay slip, about 40% of it goes into taxes. So do you really want your taxes to be going on and they're just getting into the drain? No. We want to be responsible, and that is what we're calling for, responsibility. We cannot be using the process of parliament to sanitize, misappropriation of funds. We can't. So this county government must pay, because we have sent money using Kara. We began the process with division of revenue, and counties are getting, this financial year, last financial year, they got 370 billion. If Treasury has not released that money, why order for medicine, and those medicines are not even available at Kemsa? Why order them, not pay for them? Kemsa struggles, they locate, because, okay, I'm a big critic of Kemsa, but I want to stand with the truth here, Madam Speaker. We cannot allow this mismanagement to continue prevailing. So, Madam Speaker, as I wind up, I want to encourage my dear sister to further amend, or when it goes to committee stage amendment, we'll bring an amendment to ensure that county government meets their obligations. The Ministry of Health meets its obligation to Kemsa, because we have people who are employed there. The other day, Madam Speaker, Kemsa was letting go about 600 employees, because they said their workforce is around 938, but SCAC only has approved about 380 employees. So of course, 600 employees will go. Who will pay for those employees? Yet, the money is supposed to rotate. We cannot be creating a hole, and instead of trying to fill that hole, we continue just digging it. It's impossible. If, Madam Speaker, I take this bottle of water, and I make a hole here and then I open here, and I start drinking, by the time I finish this bottle of water, I'll have only taken maybe an ounce of water, and not the entire bottle. So for us to bring in change into the management of resources in this country, we cannot allow ourselves to be brought into the interests of counties where they mismanage money. They don't want to meet the obligations, but because Parliament is the one that passed legislation, Parliament can then change those legislation. So as I wind up, Madam Speaker, I want to encourage my dear sister, Senator Shionga, to further amend, instead of me bringing an amendment, or instead of this coming into, this should be the Health Committee. Because if it comes into the Health Committee, of course, as a member of that committee, I'll ensure that I make those changes to guarantee that county governments meet their obligations. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Ladama. Honorable Senators, there being no other member who wishes to contribute, I wish to call upon the mover, Senator Naomi Shionga, to reply.
Fanya nini huko? Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to reply on the bill, on my bill on the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 53 of the 2021. Madam Speaker, I want to start by congratulating my colleagues who have contributed to this bill. I'm delighted that this new year they got an opportunity to contribute to this bill that I've brought in this House, which is timely. And I want to start by congratulating Senator Gertrude Musurube for seconding this bill and putting in, getting the input that have been he laid on this floor of the House. And I applaud her because it is not only a bill that is going to enable one sector of the government, especially the county government. It's going to be a bill that is going to assist Kenyans then see the reality that is being encountered and the difficulty that they are encountering in the health sector. She mentioned about her constituency where she comes from and the county that I come from, who have no trucks at the moment and they are depending on Kemsa. And she mentioned particularly Lumakanda and other wards in the constituent of the sub-county. And the reality is on the ground. People are meeting it, and people are feeling it, that they do not have what actually they really need, especially when it comes to the facilities that come in the counties across. She just served as an example. She mentioned just an example. And I know it goes across the country that most of the facilities are seeing the same problem, and the problem is cross-cutting across most of the facility because of the monopoly of Kemsa. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank Senator Nyamunga Rose, who also pulled it toward talking about the monopoly of it and highlighting on how the government then needs to improve. We are only supporting Kemsa. We are not saying that we are curtailing, but we are saying that let Kemsa see at the end of it all that Kenyans are suffering because of the bureaucracy that it has put in place instead of fast-tracking the process across the board so that the patient or the client, the sick people in our government hospitals get real-time treatment. Madam Speaker, I want to also to thank Senator Pushiro, who came up loudly and put in all the input that she contributed toward this. And Kemsa bill, indeed, it is a monopoly as it stands now. When we had the COVID-19, Madam Speaker, I can tell you, we saw Kemsa struggling. And when he highlighted on how we should then move around, we are not saying that we are trying to change the whole thing. We are just trying to say that we are deleting some of the clauses that are bringing challenges to the health sector to make sure that Kenya realize the health sector being the best provision, especially when it comes to a devolved function where resources follow the functions. We had Senator Kavindu also who supported this bill, and I want to congratulate my sister. Thank you very much for standing with this bill. And I know even in Machakos, people in Machakos have heard you loud and clear, and we know we are going to get the reality on the ground that changes in the health sector are going to be realized. Madam Speaker, Faria spoke about Wachia. She talked about the outrage of the power. She had to mention the equipment that have been put into the facilities and they are not working. Where the push system that I was talking, that equipment are put into the facility, but people are not realizing the importance of these equipment, especially when they are purchased by a monopolized company or a monopolized sector, and it is seeing it or it's working against the wishes of the majority in Kenya. We got Senator Nderuti, who articulated all the points on all the support through Kiswahili, which actually reached all the Kenyans And we are saying that let us help Kenyans and let us not help individuals. Madam Speaker, I want to applaud Senator Cherargei, who even went as far as wishing me the best when I become the woman rep of Kakamega. And I know all this, being my neighbor, I know when he was supporting this, it was coming right from his heart, that when it comes, that these sessions are deleted and we are placing them, we are trying to insert the right proposed acts or the proposed policies, because we are a house that actually makes laws. And when these laws comes to be passed or signed or ascended to, it's very important that they go through the concurrently. And that is what made this bill, and that is what even made me come up with this bill, the amendment that I've come up with, because if one house then takes over and passes a law that bypasses the Senate, which sees the functions of the devolved government being not realized, and it comes back and it takes another tall order, they are delaying services to Kenya. So I just want to applaud Senator Nderitu for having come up with it and talked to Kenyans through this bill amendment that he has put forward. And I think at the end of it all, Kenyans will realize that we are not just working for ourselves, but we are working for Kenyan people who we are representing, and especially in the health sector, where, and even right now, 60% of Kenyans are suffering. Madam Speaker, I want to applaud again Senator Ledama, who has come up with, and he's a member of Health Committee, and he has come up with an amendment, which I really took note of it. And when you look at the further amendment that he was proposing, I want to agree with him totally that we do not need to inherit, the bill do not need to inherit bending bills that have been incurred by the county government. But I would further put in, when it comes to the amendment, that the county government that have not cleared the bending bills should not be allowed, or should not be allowed to purchase, because they already have shown incompetence of purchasing these drugs, and they are not subjected to, they are not allowed to purchase, other than we can look for a way out how to accommodate them, but make sure that the county government that have bending bills that are overwhelming do not continue misusing the taxpayers' money and the mismanagement of the resources, but rather work on their bending bills so that they can also enjoy this, the amendment that we are putting across this house. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, with that, with those few remarks, I want to say that all the members who have contributed to these bills, I know many could have really wished to contribute, but because of the time, I want to congratulate them, and I want to sorry, Madam Speaker, but I want to ask you and wish to request that pursuant to Standing Order 61, sorry, I repeat again. Madam Speaker, I wish to request that pursuant to Standing Order 61(3), the putting of the question be deferred to a later date with your request. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, honorable senators. For the convenience of the House, we'll defer the putting of the question to the next time when it appears on the order paper. Yes, Senator. Point.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. now that we are dispensed with the bill that was in the order paper, there was a debate about that first reading of the political parties bill, and there are some members who wanted to speak to. Can we give us an opportunity to speak to it for the remaining few minutes? That's my request. I don't know what other senators feel about it.
Honorable Senator, there is no laws as far as the political parties bill is concerned, because it's coming back after the committee. It has already been committed to the committee, and when it comes back, everybody will have a chance not only to debate but to amend if they wish to amend. So I think it's in order that we defer it. Honorable Senators, it is now 12:19 p.m. and there being for the convenience of the House, we will adjourn the House. Therefore, the Senate stands adjourned until today, Tuesday, 11th January 2022 at 2:30 p.m.